Hey guys, just finished watching The Flash, Season 4, Episode 20, Therefore She Is. This episode was quite interesting. We're almost done. We're at 20. I think we only have 20, 22, 23 episodes. 23 episodes. So we still have 3 more episodes left. So this episode is pretty cool. It starts off with Gypsy and Cisco. Gypsy sends a message to Cisco asking him whether or not he's thought more about the Preacher job that Preacher offered him in the last episode, and how he's not sure. He hasn't even sent her a message yet. He hasn't responded to it. So that's really going to be cool to see. That was interesting seeing that. That's kind of the theme throughout the whole episode, is their storyline. Vibe tries to kickstart Killer Frost by shooting her, and ends up going through her, but not able to kickstart Killer Frost and Caitlin. Harry tells the team that he's losing his memory because of the dark matter and all that stuff that he did in his brain, and then finds out later on that the more he uses his brain, the more he's going to lose it, and he's pushing it away from himself. So that's kind of interesting, playing with that. Vibe and Gypsy, just end up finding the code Vibe and find a shipping container, and DeVoe's there, and he sends the Flash to the North Pole. That was pretty cool, seeing him, the Flash there at the North Pole, and it didn't take the Flash very long to get back to Central City, which was quite interesting from that idea. How in some episodes Barry's able to get caught, can catch a bullet, and yet in other episodes he gets shot in the leg, and this time he's able to take not even 10 seconds, not even a minute, to get from the North Pole back to Central City. So I think that's pretty interesting to see that, and it was quite a fun idea to seeing that, and seeing how fast he was able to go. That was quite cool seeing that. And then Barry tries to fix Vibe and Gypsy's relationship. Kind of backfires in him. He's not able to. It doesn't really work. Cecile finds out that she can read Harry's thoughts as they go, as before they go away, type thing. And that was an interesting idea. I wish they had played a little bit more with that, about how she's able to read his thoughts before they're going away, and how it would be quite interesting to see that. They didn't really explain that. They really just did it, and then they didn't really use it too much more. They did a little bit at the end when she's trying to explain and finishing his thoughts to everyone else, but it just would have been better. They could have used it just a little bit better, and I think it's an interesting idea to play with. Hopefully we'll get to play with this for the rest of the season, have Cecile around for that reason. It could be quite interesting with that. But if she looks like she's pregnant, and the pregnancy looks like it's actually the actress that's pregnant, because they're not hiding anything. Usually, they put long clothes and stuff like that, baggy clothes, to kind of hide all the prosthetics and stuff. But this looks like she's actually pregnant, so it's an interesting idea to see. Maybe I'll take a look, see if I can find stuff on Instagram or whatnot with if she's actually pregnant, to see if they just wrote into the show, which will be quite interesting to see if they actually bring the kid into the show. Because if I'm not mistaken, like over on Gotham, you had Marina Baccarin and I can't think of his name, but James Gordon and Leslie Tompkins. They both had a kid. They both got pregnant in real life, and they went to bring it into the show, and they ended up not bringing it into the show. So I think it's going to be cool to see what happens with this. Does Cecile end up losing the kid? Are they actually going to want to have a kid on the show? I think that's going to be quite interesting to see that. And how busy is Joe going to be for going into season 5? How much is it going to be in the show if he has a kid, a newborn baby in the show? I think that's really going to be cool, playing with that. And if somehow she ends up losing the kid, I think that could be quite fun going into that, with that being the downer of the episode. I think that could be something that not many people would kind of predict, because Cecile's not in so many episodes, but we would be interested to see where things go with this, and if this person ends up having powers from some sort. That could be quite interesting to see if this kid becomes someone. Since Cecile has powers, maybe the kid was born with powers, since she had dormant, like they said, she had dormant meta-human power type thing, and that's how she got powers when she was pregnant. Maybe that gives them to the kid. That could be quite interesting, playing with that. Then DeVoe ends up stealing the supercomputer, and then he shows up, and Caitlin actually ends up showing up to kind of kickstart Caitlin, so that DeVoe will attack her and stuff, and it doesn't really end up working. Gypsy almost gets injured and stuff, and later on it leads to, not necessarily leading to, but it kind of sets up Cisco and Gypsy end up later on breaking up from that. based on the fact that Gypsy doesn't want more, is fine with the relationship, but Cisco wants more, and it's just not working. I think that was an interesting idea to see that. I guess their relationship is done, which is interesting with that because it got to the point where they're gonna have to move into each other, but yet move in together, but yet they're not gonna have Cisco leave and never be back. That would have been disappointing. So hopefully we get someone for Cisco. I think it could be quite interesting playing with that. I like the idea, but to see, because it's a different relationship, and I think I liked it. So it would be cool to see whoever else Cisco finds, because it could be interesting to play with that. Him and giving him another relationship, I think, is an interesting idea to play with. We find out that we see Caitlin kind of Cisco, actually Iris ends up going up to Caitlin saying, don't do that again, don't go into danger just to set up Killer Frost. We're gonna work on it together. We're gonna work at it. And she just says, no, this is my thing. I need to get Killer Frost back. I have to do it myself. So she's kind of really getting desperate to try and get Killer Frost back. So that'll be cool to see how desperate she gets by the end of the season. Does she go so far as to getting herself almost killed? I think that could be quite interesting to see that. And what I would do, it would be an interesting idea with this storyline, is if they actually end the season with us thinking that Caitlin is dead. She gets stabbed she gets stabbed by DeVoe, or stabbed by something right through the heart. Huge sword type thing, the equivalent of it, or blast. With like a big hole. Someone uses their powers, and maybe Flash tries to throw a lightning bolt, and DeVoe figures a way to, and he accidentally hits Caitlin, and there's a big lightning bolt hole right through her chest, or type thing, or big-ish, enough, baseball size, enough to see right through, and that's where the episode ends. Black screen going into season 7, going into season 5, and then the next first scene in season 5 would be Caitlin kind of Killer Frosting up in the hole, just kind of freezing over type thing. I think that could be an interesting idea to play with, having this episode ending with, Caitlin getting hurt super bad, and her body's about to drop, and the next season when we pick up with the body dropping, hitting the ground, and then the hole just kind of icing over and filling in, and her waking up as Killer Frost. I think that could be an interesting idea, playing with that. Could be an interesting way type thing of having her getting so badly injured that we think she's dead, only to have her not be dead for the next season. I think it could be an interesting idea, but also that idea is quite fun. But it also seems like something has to happen for DeVoe. DeVoe needs to be one of the smarter villains of the season, so there needs to be some sort of fallout, and that could be an interesting fallout, but it wouldn't be enough. So as long as there's something else on top of that, I think that could be an interesting way to bring Killer Frost back for season 5. So it could be cool ending with that. But as long as we literally end with that, nothing else, just her, not knowing if she's not them saying, oh, she's alive but barely hanging on. No, I want it to end with her getting hit with something, getting zapped, getting blasted, lightninged, or stabbed, or whatever, even shot, and her body's about to fall because it's a kill shot, and then the season ends and we go into the next season with the body, her falling down and then healing up as Killer Frost. I think that could be an interesting idea, playing with that. Or maybe she comes back and she's permanently Killer Frost because Caitlin is so injured type thing. That could be an interesting idea, playing with that. Or she kind of gets injured so much and then she ends up kind of crystallizing herself and kind of freezing herself into a frozen cocoon to heal. That could be an interesting thing going in for the end of the season. The mechanic decides to leave DeVoe. DeVoe's wife ended up deciding to leave him. We also spent this whole episode with different flashbacks between the DeVoe and the mechanic, how they met the first time in university or college, and which is quite interesting with that. It was interesting the way they were doing it, a little bit different than Arrow. Or was it the same transition? It would have been cool if they used the same transition that they always use on Arrow for the flashbacks, and have it different, bring that transition, that sound effect, that style transition into here. I think that would have been interesting to do. It would have been nifty taking that over from there. It was used a lot over on Arrow, but bringing it on here would be quite different. But they managed to make away with the kind of black and white stuff. It was kind of interesting with that nice way. And so she decides to leave DeVoe, but during the whole flashbacks, we get to see how she meets him, falls in love with him. They decide to move in together, and she ends up reading his journal, finding out that he kind of doesn't like humanity, doesn't believe in them. And then when she's out kind of doing some heroic stuff by, maybe helping people in Africa or helping the poorer type thing, she ends up trying to give them stuff, and that's when she gets attacked and people start shooting and stuff just over technology. And she decides that, yes, people need to be... She starts believing into DeVoe's cause. And that was a really good motivation for her. It was really interesting the way they did that. It was really nice. And now that he's trying to dumb people down rather than enlighten people, the mechanic has decided to not do this, not play with her. So I think it's going to be interesting to see where things go with the mechanic. It seemed a bit predictable for this to go that way, that he would eventually become too smarter than her. He'd go beyond her and not need her, and then her helping with the Flash, her teaming up with the Flash to help them. It seemed predictable, but since they're doing it a little bit earlier on, like hopefully in next week's episode, maybe she decides to join them, but it'll be interesting to see where things go with that. Does she try to stop him? Does she just say, no, I don't want to do anything a part of this, but yet doesn't try to stop him? I think the idea of her going to Team Flash is an interesting idea, but at the same time, it seems a bit predictable. So I feel like, either DeVoe needs to kill her off, or something else needs to happen so that, her going to the Team Flash is not the sole answer. Maybe it completely DeVoe maybe her going to the Team Flash to try and stop DeVoe is pushes DeVoe to the breaking point, and he kind of just explodes or something, and that's where he kills her, does something where, because I feel like right now Mechanic has all the answers. If she teams up with the Flash and there's the go, they team up together and that's it, end of the story. I want it to be a little bit more than that. Maybe the Mechanic maybe DeVoe kills the Mechanic, or something else type thing. Could be quite interesting to see where things going with that, but hopefully it doesn't seem too predictable, because so far it seemed a bit predictable with the whole Mechanic thing. It seems like obvious that she's just going to go see Team Flash for help. So we'll see where things go with that, but maybe they can make it a little bit less predictable than that. Then the mystery girl that we've been seeing ever since the crossover, the girl who was was a caterer at the Barry and Iris's wedding type thing. She shows up for a gift for Cecile's baby shower. She has a gift for there, and then she speeds off, but her speed is a bit purple, so I think that's kind of cements the theory that she's Dawn Allen. So it's really going to be cool to see that. It's going to be quite interesting to see how that continues on, how she connects to this. Is she going to be setting up for season 5? I think that could be quite interesting, seeing that, dealing with some time travel. And if she is dealing with time travel, then they need to connect, which clearly it looks like she is, but if it is time travel, they need to do something with Legend of Tomorrow as to where she is and how is it going to go. I think it could be quite interesting to see that, playing with that and making sure it interconnects with Legends, and how Legends doesn't affect that timeline either. So there will be quite interesting to see where things go with this and who this character is. Is it actually Dawn Allen? It looks like it is. Although she avoids Barry, she's able to talk to Barry, but she avoids Iris. So that'll be quite interesting to see as to why she's avoiding Iris but not avoiding Barry, but fine with Joe seeing him. So that'd be quite interesting to see where things go from that. Is it Iris and Barry's daughter? That'd be quite interesting to see where things go with that, and why specifically Iris. Why if it is, I can understand why if it's Iris and Barry's kid, why to avoid them. But yet she went up and talked to Barry, yet avoiding Iris, but not avoiding Joe, who would be her grandfather. I think that's going to be interesting to see where things go with that, and how that kind of plays off, and to see who she ends up being and how hopefully she ends up setting up, because at this point we only have a few more episodes left. We're not going to deal with one episode just talking about it with her unless she's there for the fight at the end in the last episode. And it doesn't look like she's going to be too much of the focus for next week's episode, since we're going to be dealing with Amulet trying to help to defeat DeVoe. But having this mystery girl, Dawn Allen, could be something interesting to set up for this season at the end. So I could see them defeating DeVoe, everything's all good, and then that's where that's where Dawn Allen shows up and says, "Hey, I need your help. We couldn't do this," type thing. So it's going to be cool to see where things go with this. Maybe she then reveals herself just after they defeat DeVoe, or she helps defeat DeVoe. Could be quite fun, but it's going to be interesting to see where she is, and it seems like at this point she's setting up for season 5. So let me know what you think, guys, about this in the comments below. Season 4, episode 20, Therefore She Is. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.